Great.
All right, so welcome to session 2D. This session is all about recognizing others and showing appreciation and strengths that we see in others. So how many of us absolutely hate to get recognized? Don't like it? All right, nobody? Okay, why not? Thank you. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we all want to feel appreciated in our jobs, right? When we do something well, or if we do something, out of the box, or if we go the extra mile, it feels good when others recognize that and see that, right? Absolutely. So this is what this session is all about, is seeing things in others and letting them know. Because how often do we want to tell somebody good job or they did great, but we just get too tied up in the hustle and bustle of getting things done, getting things turned in, making deadlines, Sometimes all of these little things get in the way of the bigger picture. Because what happens when our employees or our coworkers don't feel appreciated? Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna have more turnover. We're gonna have maybe a lower morale. So we're gonna talk about how to change that. In this session 2D, it's all about recognition. So, how do we give recognition? Well, of course, Carnegie has an acronym for that, which is called TAPE. And TAPE stands for something, accomplishments, personality trait, and evidence. So when we are giving recognition to someone, we're going to let them know a personality trait or a characteristic that we see in that person. So we've spent a lot of time getting to know each other over the past few weeks. So we've heard some talks, we've heard a lot of people come to the front. So we've already got an idea of a characteristic trait that each person in this group has. So think about that one characteristic trait, and then you back it up with evidence. So as you're saying the characteristic, what makes you come to that conclusion? What has this person done to make you think that they are who you think they are? Okay. Now, why would we use evidence? Right. So we don't want our recognition to sound hollow or fake. We want to use that evidence because it's a true fact that solidifies that characteristic trait that person has. Now, when we talk about TAPE, we can talk about things that we like in that person or something that person has. So what are some examples of some things that we can give recognition to? Yeah, absolutely. So somebody's car that's really nice, or if they've got a great looking house or a nice shirt, those are all things. If we look at it in the scheme of things of like a dartboard, that's going to be more of the stuff on the outside. Now, honing in a little bit more is an accomplishment. So what's some examples of some accomplishments? Yeah, getting a degree, promotion, awards, absolutely. All of these things are accomplishments that we can recognize others as well. So we're getting a little bit closer into that bullseye. And this is really where we want to hit. If we're throwing that dartboard, we want to hit right in that center of that bullseye, and that's the personality trait. Now, the reason that we want to get into that section is because that is the core of who that person is. People don't remember what we say to them, they remember how we made them feel. And this is really the focus on what we're going to do over this next hour, is focusing on that personality trait, getting to the core of who that person is, and then letting them know, this is why I think that. This is how you've proven that to me. So when we give recognition, there are some do's and some don'ts. So let's talk about those next. So when we're giving recognition, we want to be sincere. We don't want to be manipulative. We want it to come from our heart. It doesn't need to sound mechanical or technical at all. Just let it come from yourself, and then be specific. So don't be too broad. Hone in on one specific trait that person has. So be very concise with it, so that person knows exactly who they are. And then be brief. Why do we want to keep it very, very short and sweet with our recognition? Yes, thank you. So if we get too long with our recognition, then it kind of starts to lose that authenticity, right? And then finally, after we've given that recognition, just simply be quiet. Let that person respond to you. Okay? And secondly, the person that is receiving the feedback, there are some do's and don'ts for us as well. So after we've received that recognition, all we do is simply state thank you. Okay? Some don'ts, just be aware of our body language. You know, sometimes when we're receiving recognition from someone, how can that make us feel? Right, exactly. Sometimes it makes us feel a little uncomfortable, or maybe put on the spot. But being open to it, just simply being quiet while you're receiving the recognition and then stating thank you at the end. Because how many of us have given maybe some recognition or some good praise to someone and they said, no, that's not me, you're crazy, stop it. Now, what does that do to our recognition that we just gave? Right? Yes, thank you. So it kind of just doesn't validate it anymore. It makes it feel like it wasn't true. And so don't give that other person that feeling of being afraid to give recognition in the future because you don't receive it very well. So what we want to do is just be courteous, say thank you, be quiet, just be conscious of our body language. So making sure that it's open and it's free and just comfortable, okay? Would you like to see an example of how this is going to look? Fantastic. So let's welcome up our GAs. Our GAs will each give recognition to each other. So I admire this trait in you. I see it because of this. The other person says thank you, and they walk away. So in a moment, we will be passing out some 3x5 cards. In our groups that we've already been established, we are going to write each person's name on the top left-hand corner of that 3x5 card, as well as our own name as well. So, since there's 4 in each group, you should have 4 cards, one for the 3 and then one for you. Now, in a moment, in our groups, we're going to write down some recognition for each person in our group. So for each person's card, write a specific trait or characteristic that you see in that person or have seen in the past, and then give evidence as to why you're saying that. And then after you finish that, simply sign your name at the bottom. Okay, let's take 5 minutes. We may give a little bit more, a little bit less, to simply write your recognition to each person. Okay, please begin. And then they'll do that. And for my summary. Okay, so for my summary, this is how this would look. So what kind of things did we notice with our environment as we were giving this recognition? Did anybody tend to look out into the group? Yeah, everybody was smiling. It was very happy. And did any of us feel uncomfortable receiving that recognition? Yeah, exactly. So it's still going to feel a little uncomfortable, but now that we've done it, how are we a little bit more comfortable with it? Great, right? So now that we've given some recognition to others, think about someone in your life who has really made an impact on you. Maybe motivated you or pushed you, or someone that you truly admire. And we're going to write a letter to that person, giving that recognition using, the TAPE acronym to show this person how much they truly mean to us and what they've done for us and the evidence that proves that. We're going to take 5 minutes as we pass around the letters and just simply write to that person, thanking them. May come in a really good time for that person, that they really, really need some encouragement, and that's what we're going to do today. So let's take 5 minutes and do that. All right, so that's my session there.